The internet wasn't ready for this because out of absolutely nowhere Charleston White, the man who never bites his tongue, never holds back, never sugarcoats, just dropped a bomb so loud, so unexpected, and so unbelievably messy that it left millions of people staring at their screens in shock. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't trolling. This wasn't another wild rant for views. Charleston music was dead serious. And the drama he claims to have uncovered, it involves Teyana Taylor. It involves music, Kanye West, and it exposes a hidden chapter of their story that no one knew existed. Not the fans, not the blogs, not the insiders. According to Charleston, the music truth isn't just messy, it's dangerous. He says he has spoken to people close music enough to smell the smoke. People who witnessed the tension, the power struggles, the emotional chaos, and the secret conversations that happen behind studio doors and closed hotel meetings. He says this drama didn't start recently. It didn't start with Kanye's meltdown. It didn't start with Teyana's marriage issues. It started years ago and has been buried under silence, NDAs, and fear ever since. And then Charleston dropped the line that sent the entire internet into cardiac arrest. Music, they've been lying to y'all, both of them. And when y'all find out you'll never look at Teyana or Kanye the same. What is he talking about? Why is Teyana involved? Why is Kanye tied to this? What secret has been hidden so deeply that even Hollywood gossip channels never touched it? And why is music Charleston White the one revealing it now? Because according to him, someone finally broke their silence. And the truth, music is worse than anyone imagined. Long before Charleston White ever opened his mouth, before the internet had theories, before fans' music began stitching old interviews and dissecting lyrics for clues, there was a strange, undeniable music tension surrounding Teyana Taylor and Kanye West. A tension nobody could explain, nobody could categorize, and nobody dared to question out loud because on the surface, their relationship always looked simple. Kanye discovered her? Kanye mentored her? Kanye gave her a platform? Kanye shaped the sonics of her biggest artistic era? Music, but behind the scenes, behind the closed studio doors, behind the perfectly curated interviews, there were rumors, quiet, sharp whispers that followed them from label meetings to tour rehearsals to private listening sessions. People close to good music used to say, Taylor and their dynamic is complicated. That was the word insiders always used. Complicated, not professional, not friendly. Music not creative, not collaborative, complicated. And now Charleston White claims he finally music knows why. But to understand the explosion Charleston just ignited, you have to understand the history, the build-up, the overlooked hints, the moments fans should have paid attention to but didn't. Because the truth is this tension didn't start with Kanye's public spirals, or with Teyana's marital collapse with Iman Shumpert. It started years earlier when Teyana was just a teenage artist trying to find her voice in the chaotic, volatile environment that was good music. Back then, Teyana wasn't the superstar she is today. She was raw talent with no direction, a voice with no platform, a star with no gravity. And Kanye? He was already a force of nature, unstable yet brilliant, nurturing yet destructive, a creative hurricane who could build careers or blow them apart with a single emotional outburst. People forget how young Teyana was when Kanye first pulled her into the good music orbit. She wasn't ready for that world. Music, no one is. Insiders now say Teyana bonded with Kanye because she understood his chaos and he understood hers. People thought it was mentor and protege. But Charleston White claims it was much deeper. He says there were emotional bonds, power struggles, creative battles, late-night arguments, moments of connection followed by explosive fallout. And then Charleston revealed something fans never knew. Something that changes the entire music story. Teyana wasn't afraid of Kanye, Kanye was afraid of her. What does that even mean? Why would Kanye, a man who clashed with Jay-Z, with Drake, with entire corporations, be afraid of Teyana Taylor? Because, according to Charleston, Teyana music knew something personal, something sensitive, something Kanye did not want in the public eye. One good music engineer hinted at this years ago when he tweeted, Tay saw everything. She kept her mouth shut, but she didn't forget. At the time, nobody understood what he meant. Music now, Charleston claims he does. As Teyana matured artistically, her relationship with Kanye reportedly became more volatile, more emotionally charged, more unpredictable. Sources say there were heated arguments during recording music sessions. Times when Teyana walked out, times when Kanye yelled, times when Teyana yelled back. She was one of the very few people who could stand up to him without flinching. And that music power dynamic made people in the room extremely uncomfortable. One producer said they would go from laughing to screaming in the same hour. It was intense. Another music added, Teyana didn't treat him like a genius. She treated him like a person, and Kanye couldn't music handle that. That alone created quiet tension. But Charleston White claims the real story, the hidden drama, wasn't about ego or music. It was about a secret agreement music between Teyana and Kanye. Something personal, something painful, something both had reasons to bury. Something that Charleston claims he has valid confirmation music about. And that's not even the twist. Because while fans have spent years analyzing Kanye's meltdowns music and Teyana's heartbreaks separately, Charleston is now alleging that their personal lives and emotional damage have been intertwined this entire time, deeply, secretly, dangerously. Music. He says a major falling out between them happened years before the public ever realized. A falling out that allegedly involved jealousy, betrayal, broken trust, and a private confrontation that left both of them shaken, according to an insider who spoke anonymously. After that night, music, everything changed. Kanye changed. Teyana changed. Their relationship was never the same. But the public never knew about this confrontation. Why? Because music. Charleston says there were too many people involved, too much to cover up, too much at stake. Think about it. Why did Taya leave good music on such cold terms? Why did Kay avoid mentioning her in later years? Why did Teyana unfollow people connected to him? Why did she say she felt underappreciated, ignored, and emotionally drained by the industry? What really happened? Charleston claims one person finally broke their silence. Someone who was in the room during the confrontation. Music, someone who witnessed everything. Someone who walked away traumatized. That person allegedly told Charleston, "This wasn't just a fight. This was the night Teyana realized Kanye was not who she thought he was." And the night music. Kanye realized Teyana knew too much. Fans never heard this version of history. And the twist, the confrontation they described music, allegedly involved another woman, someone very close to both Teyana and Kanye, someone whose name will explode the internet. And Charleston says he's ready to reveal it. What happened the night Teyana Taylor and Kanye West had their secret confrontation wasn't just a disagreement, wasn't just a creative clash, wasn't just one of those artist music versus producer moments the industry laughs off. According to the insider who spoke to Charleston White, it was the night everything changed for Kanye music, for Teyana, and for the woman whose name has been buried for years to protect everybody involved. And once you hear what happened, you'll understand exactly why Charleston said they've been lying to y'all, and they had good reason to. The story begins in 2017 during a period when good music was chaotic, emotionally charged, and full of shifting alliances. Kanye was spiraling creatively and personally. Teyana was trying desperately to get her album released, fighting tooth and nail for the artistic respect she deserved. Behind the scenes, people said things felt unstable. But nobody expected that night to unfold the way it did. Because that night, music. Kanye wasn't alone. He was with someone else. Someone deeply connected to both him and Teyana. And when Teyana walked into that room, she saw something she was never supposed to see. The secret woman. The first major twist. For years, fans speculated. Was it Kim? Was it a mistress? Was it a producer? Was it a model? No, it was someone much closer. According to Charleston's source, the mystery woman was a good music-affiliated vocalist. Teyana had music personally mentored, a younger artist, someone Teyana believed she was helping, someone she trusted, someone she viewed almost like a little sister. And Kanye? He had been working music closely with her behind the scenes, closer than anyone realized. The insider says music. Teyana thought she was walking into a studio check-in. Instead, she walked into betrayal. What Ta saw. The insider refused music to describe the scene explicitly, but they did say this. It wasn't physical, but it was intimate, talking, laughing. The kind of emotional closeness Kanye never gave Teyana when she needed him most. Music, the kind of closeness that instantly told Teyana, this wasn't professional. This wasn't creative. This wasn't innocent. The betrayal was emotional, not physical. And sometimes music that hurts worse. Teyana reportedly froze, turned cold, then quietly said, "So this is why my album isn't finished." Kanye music snap back? Defensive, irritated, exposed. Don't make this about you right now. But Teyana did make it about her because everything suddenly clicked. The delays, music, the cancellations, the broken promises, the ignored texts, the half-finished songs, the disrespect. Kai wasn't too busy. He wasn't overwhelmed. He wasn't uninspired. He was investing his time and attention somewhere else. Music. And that's when the fight started. The insider claims this confrontation escalated faster than anyone expected. Yelling accusations. Years of tension exploding in minutes. Teyana allegedly shouted, "I gave everything to this label. You said you believed in me. Can I music fire back? You think you're the only artist here. You don't own my time." The young vocalist, terrified, tried to leave the room. Teyana stopped her. "No, stay. If you're part of this, you stay." Music, that's when Can I lost it, but it was what Teyana said next that changed everything. According to Charleston's source, she whispered, "I know things about you too, can I?" The room went silent, and Kanye's entire music energy shifted. He reportedly stepped back, hands shaking, breathing heavy, because that was the moment he realized Teyana had leverage. Real leverage, personal leverage, something she had kept quiet for years, something that could ruin him if it ever got out, something connected to his relationship, his career, maybe even his mental health. The insider says, Kanye wasn't yelling anymore. He was scared. And the young vocalist, she wasn't just a bystander. Music, according to Charleston, she was a symbol of the deeper betrayal, not the cause. The real issue was the secret Teyana held. The second twist. T tried to quit music, good music, that night. People always wondered why her relationship with Kanye shifted so suddenly afterward. This is why sources say Teyana walked straight out of the studio, told her team, "I'm done with him. Music. I'm done with this label. I'm done being loyal." But she was blocked legally, contractually, financially. Music, good music, couldn't afford to lose her. Not when they still needed her voice, her writing, her choreography, her influence. So they convinced her to stay. And Kanye tried to make peace, but the trust was dead. The insider described music, the aftermath. Teyana didn't cry. She didn't yell. She went ice cold. From that night on, she stopped confiding in Kanye. She stopped defending him. She stopped believing in his promises. She stopped caring about his approval. She became done. And Kanye? He became paranoid, checking who Teyana talked to, who she trusted, whether she was planning to expose the secret she hinted at. That tension is why she later left good music. It wasn't creative differences. It wasn't lack of support. It wasn't industry politics. It was betrayal. Emotional, personal, irreversible. Music, the third twist. Charleston says the secret has to do with the night KY once erased. Charleston didn't reveal it yet, but he hinted at it. He said, Kanye wasn't scared of losing Teyana as an artist. He was scared of what she knows. And then he added, she saw something real. Fans are speculating. Was it about his mental health episode, a private music breakdown, a scandal involving Kim? A hidden financial issue, a recording session meltdown, a confession Kanye made in confidence, something involving another woman, because the internet assumed she was the problem, the wedge, the betrayal, the emotional link that broke everything. But no, according to her, Kanye and Teyana were already falling apart long before that night. Their relationship had been strained for months. Communication was dead. Trust was gone. The energy between them was cold, tense, and unpredictable. She said, Teyana thought something happened between me and Ye, but that wasn't the issue. The real issue was something she knew and something he knew she knew. Charleston pressed her for details. She hesitated. Then she sent him a voice note. Her voice was shaking. Teyana walked in on us talking. That's it. Just talking. But Kanye was confiding in me about something he didn't want her to know. Charleston said the voice note changed everything because Kanye wasn't emotionally cheating. He wasn't flirting. He wasn't building a new mentorship. He was hiding, and Teyana catching him in that moment wasn't about jealousy. Ironically, it wasn't even romantic. It was about Kanye being terrified that music Teyana would expose the secret he had just confessed to the young vocalist that same night. A secret he had been carrying for years. A secret, she said, would have ended his marriage and his reputation at the time. Then came the part that shook Charleston. He told me something private, something about a night he regrets music more than anything. Something he said he could never let Teyana repeat. And suddenly everything made sense. Music, why can't I snapped? Why he panicked? Why he tried to downplay Teyana's anger? Why he later distanced himself from her career? Charleston asked. What did he tell you? There was a long silence. Too long. Finally, she said, it's not my secret to expose, but let's just say Teyana wasn't the only person who saw him that night. Charleston said music. He froze because that line wasn't vague, it was pointed. She continued, Music knew he had a breakdown way before the public did, but she also knew why he had it. And that's when Music Charleston realized this wasn't about Kim. It wasn't about music. It wasn't about jealousy. It was about an incident Ka had tried to erase from his life. A moment that triggered his downward spiral. A moment only Music two women had witnessed, Teyana and this vocalist. And both of them stayed silent. But the vocalist told Charleston something even more shocking. Can I beg me not to tell her what he said? But he didn't know she already knew. She said Teyana wasn't reacting to Kanye being emotionally close to another artist. She was reacting because Kanye had confirmed something she'd known about him for years, something he once Music denied, dismissed, or minimized, something that proved she had been right during a past argument Music they never recovered from. Then came the biggest bombshell. Teyana didn't walk in on something inappropriate. She walked in on Kanye confessing to me what he refused to admit to her, and that was the betrayal, not cheating, not attention, not emotional intimacy. It was validation. If Kanye admitted it to someone else, why couldn't he admit it to her? The vocalist said. She looked at him like she had finally caught him in a lie he'd been keeping for years. Charleston asked, so what exactly did Kanye admit? Another long music silence. Then Teyana knows. Kanye knows? And I know. But if it comes out, it'll destroy more than just Kanye. Charleston claims the vocalist hinted that the secret involved a night. Kanye wasn't supposed to be somewhere, a person. Kanye wasn't supposed to be with an emotional moment that Music spiraled into something darker and a cover-up involving someone in his inner circle. The vocalist said, Tay wasn't mad at me. She was mad Music at him. And she told him that night she'd never trust him again. Charleston said the tension in the room didn't come from jealousy or drama. It came from fear because Kanye realized Teyana's silence was the only Music thing protecting him, and Teyana realized Kanye trusted another woman more than her. Not romantically, but emotionally, truthfully, vulnerably. Charleston said the vocalist ended with something haunting. Teyana walked out of that studio knowing she held Kanye's biggest secret, and Kanye walked out knowing she could ruin him if she ever wanted to. That's why their relationship collapsed. That's why Teyana left Good Music. That's why Kanye distanced Music himself. It wasn't a scandal. It was a stalemate. Two people holding the same landmine and refusing to let it explode. But the vocalist said one more thing. The thing Charleston Music said he's going to reveal next. If Teyana ever speaks, the whole world will understand why Kanye has been spiraling for Music years. Charleston White said he wasn't going to drop the final detail. He said the world wasn't ready. He said revealing what really happened the night Music Kanye regrets would shake the culture. But the moment the young vocalist hinted that Teyana wasn't the only person who saw him, Charleston knew the truth wasn't just a rumor. It was a bomb waiting to explode. And now pieces are finally snapping together. Because the secret Teyana has been carrying, the one Kanye begged the vocalist not to repeat, the one that Music shifted their entire relationship, isn't just embarrassing. It's careering. It's emotionally devastating. And it explains Kanye's spiral, Teyana's Music silence, and the mysterious tension around Good Music during those years. Here's what Charleston uncovered. The night Kim Music, I regret, wasn't a creative meltdown. It wasn't a fight with Kim. It wasn't a mental health Music episode. It was a night Kanye lost control emotionally in front of two women. He desperately wanted to see him as a genius, and instead they saw him as broken. According to Charleston's insider, the night in question involved a panic attack. Kanye tried to hide a private argument with a major celebrity, Kim Music saying something he never meant to say. In a moment of weakness, he begged both women to forget. But the real twist, the major celebrity involved was someone the public never connected to this story. Someone who should not have been there that night. Someone who had a complicated history with Kanye already. Charleston didn't say the name, but he said enough for the internet to figure it out. Music. He said it's someone Kanye respected and feared disappointing. What male celebrity fits that description? Jay-Z, Drake, Kid Cudi, someone connected to DA. The internet music is already losing its mind trying to guess. But Charleston did reveal what Kanye said in that moment. The sentence that shattered his relationship with Teyana forever. Kanye allegedly looked at the young vocalist during his breakdown and said, "Don't tell Teyana. She won't understand. She'll use it against me." Those 11 words destroyed music everything. Because Teyana, loyal ride-or-die supportive, had been defending Kanye for years. She stood up for him publicly, privately, emotionally. And Kanye's music fear wasn't that she'd expose him. His fear was that she'd finally see him as weak. But when Teyana walked into that room and heard him say it, she didn't cry. She didn't yell. She didn't fall apart. She said, "I already knew. I just wanted you to music. Trust me enough to admit it." And that's when Kanye really cracked. The insider describes Kanye's face as terrified. Not angry, not music defensive, terrified. Because Teyana had just revealed the one thing he feared most. She knew the truth all along. And if she knew how many others did, the young vocalist told Charleston that Kanye spiraled for weeks after music that night, convinced Teyana would expose him. She didn't. She stayed silent, but she pulled away emotionally, creatively, personally. That distance, more than the music confrontation, destroyed their bond. But the second twist in this final reveal, Teyana didn't stay silent to protect Kanye. She stayed silent to protect herself because, according to Charleston, the reason Teyana never told the world is because the truth connects music back to her too. What does that mean? What could tie both of their reputations to the same secret? Charleston won't say yet, but insiders claim it involves a project Teyana worked on, a conversation she overheard, and a situation Kanye wasn't supposed to be involved in. And the part that's sending shockwaves, someone big was also at the studio that night. Someone Kanye wanted to impress, someone who saw him break down emotionally in a way not even Kim had witnessed. That person's identity is the missing piece, the name that makes the whole story dangerous. Charleston ended the cliffhanger with this. The secret is coming out whether they want it to or not. Too many people know now, and the person who was there that night music just might speak next. Then he added, "This won't just affect Kanye and Teyana. It's going to shake the whole industry." And now everyone is asking the same questions. Who was the mystery celebrity in the room? What did Kanye admit that night? Why was he terrified of Teyana repeating it? And why is Charleston saying the truth is about to come out now? Before you even think about scrolling away, you need to understand something. What Charleston White just exposed isn't the end of the story. It's the match, the spark, the first crack in a much bigger explosion that's about to rip through the industry. Because if Kanye Music West, Teyana Taylor, and a mystery celebrity were all present on the night Kanye lost control? If Teyana knew his deepest secret and stayed quiet. If a young vocalist heard the confession and reached out to Charleston. If insiders are already whispering that the truth is about to surface. Then trust me, the real drama hasn't even started yet. And now you have a choice. Sit back and watch or jump into the conversation that's about to take over every timeline in America. So here's what I need from you right now. Fire, do you believe Teyana has been protecting Kanye all these years? Why would she? Fire, who do you think the mystery celebrity was? The one Kanye didn't want to see him break down. Drop your theory. Fire, what do you think Kanye confessed in that room? What was he so afraid Teyana would repeat? Fire, do you think the young vocalist is telling the whole truth, or does she have something to gain? Fire. And the biggest question of all, should Charleston drop the name, yes or no? Your comment isn't just engagement, it's fuel. The theories you post become the energy that pushes this story into the algorithm. Music brings out more insiders and forces the truth into the light. Hit like if your jaw dropped at the twist. Hit subscribe because the moment Charleston drops the next detail, the name, the confession, the night that ties Kanye, Teyana, and a major celebrity together, you're going to want to be here first. Turn on notifications because trust me, this scandal is snowballing. People are talking, more receipts are coming. And when the real truth breaks, it's not just Kanye's legacy on the line. Not just Teyana's, not just a vocalist, it's an entire era of good music history. So tell me in the comments,